perhaps even dismissive. The answer came almost immediately, as the congressman smiled and extended his hand, asking me politely why I wanted to write a book about the freedom rides. Over the next hour, his warmth and openness washed over me, putting me completely at ease. He not only answered all of my questions, many of which had undoubtedly been asked hundreds of times in the past, he also assured me that he genuinely valued truth-telling history, that he wanted to see the true story of the freedom rides shared with as much of the world as possible. As he once explained, he believed it is imperative to study and learn the lessons of history because humanity has been involved in this soul-wrenching existential struggle for a very long time. I knew, of course, that in 1998 he had published a highly acclaimed autobiography, Walking with the Wind, a memoir of the movement, for which he later received the 2006 Roosevelt Wilson Award, presented by the American Historical Association to recognize public service to the discipline of history. The interview went well, and before we had finished, he even recruited me to help him contact the hundreds of freedom riders he wanted to invite to an upcoming 40th reunion, to which I was also invited. By the time I left his office, we had become friends, drawn together by both emotional and intellectual ties. This began a 20-year friendship, a gift that afforded me numerous opportunities to observe him up close and personal. The more I saw of him, the more I came to appreciate his depth and character. He was, without a doubt, a man of uncommon decency and almost breathtaking moral courage. Not only did he live up to his reputation for greatness, but he did so with a hint of pretense or self-absorption. Early on, when I made the mistake of addressing him as Congressman Lewis, he waved me off with a gentle admonition. "Just call me John. Everyone does." There was quite a shyness about him that magnified his charm. To my surprise, he had a soft conversational voice that contrasted with the soaring oratory he often displayed in the public arena. He also had a slight but noticeable speech impediment that, combined with a thick Southern drawl, gave him an air of vulnerability. But as he told the press on several occasions, he was primarily a man of action, not of words. While many of his admirers found him to be eloquent, he thought of himself as a tugboat, not a showboat. This unprepossessing self-image was consistent with his physical appearance, his short stature, his stocky body, and his clean-shaven head, bearing the marks of beatings suffered during his movement years. Lewis's most revealing feature, however, was his dark brown, penetrating eyes. It was there that one sensed the enormous energy driving his spirit. As the journalist Milton Vorse noted, after interviewing Lewis in the mid-1970s, beneath his unassertive manner lay a fierce inner zeal which gave him incredible courage and inflexible will. He could be dramatic and animated, especially when talking about civil or human rights, or more mundanely, when he confessed his love of simple pleasures, such as freshwater fishing and sweet potato pie. Yet he never seemed flustered or diverted from what he wanted to say or do. Even in highly stressful situations, he was always calm and collected, as if guided by an inner peace, grounded in faith and tolerance. This poise allowed him to make decisions, large and small, in accordance with his principles, and not as reactions forged in the heat of the moment. "I learned early on to pace myself," Lewis once remarked in an attempt to explain his personal style, his curious mixture of manners and militancy, as the journalist John Edgerton put it. He recalled, "I felt we were involved in a lifetime struggle, hard, tedious, continuous. There were disappointments, but I had faith that continued pressure and pushing would pay off. You have to have a sense of hope to survive. I didn't give up. I didn't become bitter or become engulfed in hatred. That's just not a part of me." I witnessed one telling example of this in 2011 when I visited his office as part of a design team that hoped he would sponsor a multi-million-dollar earmark appropriation for an expansion of the Freedom Rides Museum in Montgomery, Alabama. Dressed in suits and ties, looking like an official delegation with serious matters to discuss, we arrived at the appointed time. Yet the congressman made us wait for more than an hour before escorting us into his office. The reason for the delay was his promise to help a 14-year-old boy from